It's time for another edition of the Chips and Salsa Show, New Mexico. My name is Alice Lara, here as always with my partner in podcast political crime.
That's right.
Is Mr. Zeke Rodriguez. Wait a minute. The sexy New Mexican. Millennial.
It's been a while since I've heard that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here we are, guys. We are live on Facebook. We're going to be recording this, and we're troubleshooting a new little sound system here. So if you guys can't hear us, please let us know right away. We're monitoring online here. So if you can't hear us, let us know. We will fix it for you guys. Other than that, you know what? We're gonna download this and then upload it to YouTube as well. We're going live on my platform just because it's just convenient to do it that way. And it's pretty much the same listeners, so it just all works together. I appreciate Alice being here and just us doing the show and you guys listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a lot to cover. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on. You know, I'll admit that I felt like once Trump got in, things were going to be smoother, things were going to be better. And although it did feel a lot better, it still feels great.
The energy is good.
The energy is
still
great.
not in there yet.
There's a lot of big problems going on, but Alice, I think you had some issues, some things you want to talk about first, huh?
Well, a lot of stuff we keep hearing about. What really seems to be in the news that they're pushing, I'll say,
Right.
is that they're trying to do this deportation scare. You know, they're going to take your abuelitas and everybody like that. But if you really listen to people who know their stuff, first of all, you can't just go in and deport all these people. When he talks about these bigger deportations, as they've always said, they have to focus on the hardcore criminals. And it's not going to be, it amazes me, if you are listening to any of that, I recommend that you do some search, like we talked about it last time. You can't depend on the, what do they call it now, the legacy media? Or whatever.
Dinosaur media.
Dinosaur media, yeah, to give you the right information. You have to actually do a little bit of research. They're also saying, so like I go to one place and say, oh, there's a bunch of people that are coming through because they know that once Trump gets in, they're not going to be there. And then you hear another report that says, well, no, a lot of people are backing off because they're afraid once they get in there, they're just going to be thrown out. I heard a really good comment. Do you know who Art Del Cueto is?
No.
You probably have seen him. I believe his title, he's with the National Border Patrol Council. And I've met him. He actually came and talked to our district, which is known as a ward here in New Mexico, counterpart, and he knows extensively about the Border Patrol. And he was talking about there's some of these sanctuary cities that welcome the illegal act of immigration, and they're already starting to complain about that. And he says, well, you know what? If I lived in these cities, he didn't say if I lived in cities. He says people that live in these little towns and cities. Okay, well, you know what? If you left and let those people in there, how happy do you think that the mayors, the city council would be about that? It's just the reality of life. And when before Trump got elected, I spent a lot of time, and I think you did too, on my Facebook pages, on my limited social media, because I'm not as big as you, but pushing that because people didn't want to believe that. They just thought, if it didn't personally affect them or they couldn't see that it did, they really didn't know about it. And yeah, there's a lot of people here that really don't need to be here and shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and they've done polls and studies, like none of us Americans, even the ones who came here illegally in the past that are here legally now, that kind of work their way up and to be assimilated into they don't want them here either. Nobody wants illegal immigration. It's ingrained in our subconscious, It's like being in a village or being inside of a castle and then letting outsiders in. It's inherent within us to preserve our culture, preserve our country and our nation. And we all inherently know that when we start letting people in without vetting them, that's a problem.
Well, and it started small, back when I was in college, and that's when they first started renaming them, and they called them undocumented, because it was mean to say illegal immigration, illegal alien. You couldn't use that word because it sounded like somebody's from outer space. But even back then, really what it was mostly, the vast majority were people coming from South America, mostly Mexico, working here. A lot of times they work here temporarily, they just needed money to send back. And it wasn't that big a deal because people just kind of dealt with it. But this, under the Biden administration, and you have from Chinese people all over the country, and like Trump says, some of the countries just opening up their prisons. I mean, we don't even know what the heck we have in here.
Yeah, we've talked about this a bunch, It's like, and the thing is that people don't know is that every country thrives and is fully dependent on illegal immigration for labor. For immigration for labor. So it's a necessary.
Well, I wouldn't say fully dependent.
No, they are. I mean, the UAE, every country relies on cheap immigrant labor to get big development projects done, to just do things in that country. I mean, that's what's going on in Germany with the birth rates tanking. They're relying on the migrant for labor, and they always have. It's always going to be a part of every country's culture to depend on cheap migrant labor to get things done. It's always been like that.
But if you go with that, and you know more about it evidently than I do, it's still documented. They keep track of their labor. You can control it. You can regulate it. It's a necessary component. I think we should have programs. So if you do come over here and they do, it's not that hard to figure out. They need to increase those programs, and you get them in here. I have no problem with that.
Not that hard.
Au pair is a perfect example.
Yeah.
You get them in here, you sponsor them. It's just so unfair to somebody who's been doing it for years, trying to become an American citizen, doing everything right, spending all this money, and someone just gets to walk across and do whatever the hell they want.
Well, here's the difference: is you get these migrant laborers who are doing skilled, hard labor, and they're kicking ass and taking names and that, like you were saying, they're shipping it back home. The difference is these other ones who are coming up here, they ain't trying to work. They're living off of welfare. They're getting more benefits than veterans. They're getting more benefits than our own American people.
And we've done that. Yeah,
and that's where we have a problem with it, right? So this is pretty straightforward stuff. But this is how you implode a country. This has all been planned, you know. So
yeah, it just didn't happen. You're absolutely right.
It's been like this for a very long time. So you know, even though Trump's saying he's got these plans, but you know, it's going to be a process, I think. And what I know from the top, you know, how Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and all these guys, they go after the drug dealers, the violent criminals first, and all the men. Leave the women and children alone. In fact, because a lot of those women and children were exploited. They were up here separated from their families.
The missing children too. How many hundreds of thousands?
Try to get them back with their families back home. But if you can't, we got to give them the money. The kids and the children, if they can't find a home for them, give them the money, keep them here, assimilate them, have them learn our country, respect our country. They'll kind of be probably some of the best Americans ever because we actually help them get out of that.
Well, and you know, the sponsorship program of immigration, and that's always kind of been the case. There's people that have businesses. And like you say, maybe there's somebody who is not a citizen, but they have legal status here and they're working. And there are some programs, the whole immigration system. And that's another point too. We don't know enough about what our real immigration process is. But what I do know, and I'm going to repeat the story because it just will never leave me, about I was flying from El Paso back to Phoenix, and the gentleman sitting next to me was from Mexico getting ready to get citizenship.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stress enough. He said, I want to be an American citizen because in Mexico, the law means nothing, and in the United States, the law means something. And that was his big difference. And now, you can't really say that wholeheartedly. Hopefully, we're going to return someone to that. It's not going to happen overnight, but at least there's a hope that justice will be served. Trump is trying already to put people in place that I think this is going to be, wow, one heck of a year.
Next 4 years, I mean, I just think we're going to have an economic boom that we ever experienced, even despite all the debt that we have. If we actually restructure things properly, which I know Trump knows how to do, we're about to experience the biggest economic boom in world history. And, you know, that's why they're trying to still stop him. You know, I know recently Zelensky had turned down peace talk. Yeah, so Trump had a peace talk conference at Mar-a-Lago. He had all the world leaders there, and he's been negotiating with them for a couple of weeks now, apparently. But it came out today that Zelensky is not coming to the table. And the NATO, since Trump's going to take control of NATO now, and we've gotten rid of all he's going to get rid of all the funding for NATO if they keep pushing this Ukraine war. The people who are pushing the Ukraine war actually, they form another, it's called the Northern Alliance. So it's like Germany, who else is it? It's like the Netherlands. All those areas are now going to push the war with the Ukraine, without NATO, without America. So they're doing it. England is part of that alliance too. So they're going to do everything they can to, you know, drag us into World War III, the nuclear fallout. Because we caught red-handed. We know that they've been trying to take full power, full control of the world, and they can't do that without full power and control of America. And they almost had it. So, you know, even though Trump's going to be getting in there, and they still might try to kill him, they can still trigger a nuclear war. I recently heard that they might still try to kill Biden and let Kamala Harris get in there, and then she's going to issue martial law. So these are all the strategies.
There's still time. I mean, we're only the end of
November.
November.
There's
still
plenty of time.
A month and a half, actually more than a month and a half, that things can happen. Do you have predictions, anything that you think will happen? I think the fact that more people are aware on a level like you and I are, and this is because of the relevant podcasts that people are actually listening to and paying attention to now.
Yeah.
do you have a prediction? You follow that stuff with Zelensky a lot better than I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm obsessed. I listen to the news 2-3 hours a day. I've said that before, but from what I understand, they're not going to just roll over, obviously, but I think that in the very near, well, look, I'll put it in perspective. The legacy media, dinosaur media, used to get 20 to 30 million views a day, even an hour, back in the day. So that was it, right? Nowadays, they're lucky if they pass 1 million. They're averaging about 5. MSNBC right now, they're about to go bankrupt. That's what Elon
Musk.
Musk.
talk about that,
Yeah, we'll get into that. But Elon Musk is about to. But they get maybe 500,000 viewers a day, tops at the most, down to 200. So they're dying. Elon Musk and Trump interview got 1 billion views. Elon Musk hits 100 million views daily, regularly. Alex Jones is now
100 million.
regularly.
What's population in the U.S.? 300.
I think it's like 300 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Wow.
So, and then Alex Jones just passed 100 million views a day mark. And Tucker Carlson gets close, 60 to 100 million. Joe Rogan. So all of the mainstream media, now the new mainstream media, they get all these tremendous amount of views, way more than the legacy dinosaur media. So like the best analogy that I can give, it's like the legacy media is like a horse cart and buggy, versus a Tesla. It's like
You're right.
We are the mainstream. Independent news, alternative media. It's not alternative anymore. We're the main.
We need to come up. There needs to be a new name for it. Maybe there is, and I don't know. But they can.
But yeah, long story short, there's way more of us than them. More people are waking up now more than ever. And if anybody believes in the observer effect and collective conscience, we should prevail out of this. Because we're all in this together. We're all on the same page. It's just basically the large majority of the baby boomers that just never really got into tech. They don't really know the internet that well, but are still watching that dinosaur legacy media. So with Elon Musk purchasing MSNBC or InfoWars, we're going to get that demographic.
We are a slow. You're right. But
You're
we
advanced.
are trying to learn, but there's still
You're going live on Facebook right now, so you're different.
Well, I've been doing this for a while too.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right about that. But I do want to talk about MSNBC. Like when I first got here,
Yeah.
I cannot believe still that MSNBC was paying Rachel Maddow, your girlfriend, $30 million a year.
Yeah. And she was only getting 500,000 views, 1 million views. She wasn't getting anything near what these other guys get. So it's just ridiculous what these people get paid, and she's not even that good.
Well, that's the thing, and so they gave her a pay cut of $5 million. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, like you say, because Elon may purchase MSNBC. But I looked up, I thought, well, what is Gutfeld? Because I watch Gutfeld comes on at night. He just has a great show at night, and then he also does another show during the day, every day, okay? And I think his income was $7 million.
Annual.
Yeah, annual. So
That's damn good.
yeah, which is good. I'm not saying it's not, but compared to Rachel Maddow, $30 million. I mean, to me, there's no comparison. If you see what he does, he's funnier and a better journalist. I think I enjoy his stuff better. I don't know if he's been doing it longer. Maybe he has been in media longer. But the numbers they can't do it. They can't. That's just.
It's a matter of telling the truth. They pay them so much because they lie to their freaking teeth. You know what I mean? And Gutfeld's just shooting straight.
It's for a reason.
Right. So, and they were being propped up by all kinds of miscellaneous billionaires and global interests and stuff. So that prop up is gone. They're bankrupt. Just like Vice Media. As soon as they go woke, they go bankrupt. Vice Media was. I don't know. You remember Vice?
No. What is that?
It was like alternative journalism. Like 10, 15 years ago. Shane Smith came out with it, and it was like showing like prostitution in Thailand, like the war in Afghanistan, like in your face, hardcore journalism. Anyway, it went woke and got bought out, and it just tanked, and just then it went bankrupt like a couple of years after they bought it. So, people just aren't buying this anymore. You can't hide it. I don't know what they're going to do. I think we're going to come out on top of this massively.
Well, I really hope that he does and joins forces with Rogan's, with the headline that I saw. And then, they could still use the M and just call it millennial media or something like that. But I am very excited about that because I think that's going to bring even more millennials to us.
Right.
Because my focus a lot is, baby boomers, we're the ones, we're retiring, we pay attention, we're of the top radio world. So, it's not like you said you listen to news 3 hours a day. It's not uncommon. I'm still in the habit. If I'm doing whatever I'm doing around the house, I've got something going. Now it's on my phone. I'm listening to a podcast or doing something like that, or the TV's on with Newsmax or whatever it is, an interview that I want to watch. And I just see this as a really good reinforcement and recruiting tool for the younger population, because this is, or I'm getting older, the baby boomers, but you guys are going to be around a long time. And then what's after you? It's Gen Z?
Gen Zs, yeah.
The Gen Zs, I think they're coming, not woke, but awake. And if this is one of our functions too, to help that and bring you news that is kind of hard to find, and the local issues as well. And as I say, if you have any recommendations for guests, we're just kind of revamping things, and we're just really happy for your support. Please keep telling people about us. It's really kind of a kick when I get a text from somebody like, hey, did you do your show this week or whatever? Did I miss it? Man. So we know that you're following out here. And I just heard from someone on my phone today, and they said, yeah, they're from New Mexico. And they were talking to somebody in Arizona. I said, yeah, you guys you're getting out there. So, for good or for bad, people know about us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to share the knowledge, because I know a lot of people don't have time to listen to news the way that I do. And, despite Alex Jones, who I'm a big fan of, is, one of the most popular journalists in the world now. I think he is the most popular. He beat Chuck Carlson and Joe Rogan now.
Wow.
Because they tried to, steal his studio and his platform recently. I don't know if you heard about that.
I heard someone talking to him about that, and they actually lied. It's the Onion, right?
Right.
The Onion, that used to be a long, long time ago. That was like a big satire, real funny, and they were lying that they had bought his.
Yeah. It was a complete scam. They weren't able to buy it. They're back in the studio, but it made him wildly popular. Like I said, he's bigger than everyone, but
it just helped him.
But Elon Musk, it just helped him. That's what happens when
I
you
love
attack
that.
it. So I share what I learned from him. I follow other guys too. The Health Ranger, Mike Adams. There's other guys I listen to, but
Mike Adams is good.
The thing about Alex Jones is he's never been wrong. I think everything he's ever taught me and I've learned from his show is came to fruition, and my credibility's gone through the roof. And so I'm happy to share this knowledge with everybody. And for now, I think one of the most important things that Elon Musk had concluded since Trump got in is this Elon Musk is number one, and then it's Alex Jones and Handout Video, and then it's Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and kind of compete back and forth. But Elon Musk is basically saying now that Trump's about to be in, we need to quadruple down peacefully on keeping control, on exposing the opposition.
Yes.
Don't let up. And I'll tell you right, I'm guilty of kind of letting up. I'm like, all right, Trump's in there now, I can kind of let back a little bit. But no, Elon Musk has a great point. This is the time to because there's still a chance for us to lose everything. We were talking about just a second ago, they can initiate a nuclear war, they can do this, they can do that still, they can assassinate Trump. So right now, I'm on a path to, I'm getting a little more raw on my Facebook, if you can tell. I'm posting a lot more stuff that exposes.
You getting raw?
Well,
that's kind of unbelievable.
I think most people are privy and they understand, what's going on with the whole P. Diddy thing and the whole Epstein client list thing. And so we just got to expose this stuff more,
You make such a relevant point, and it is very easy to get comfortable, but you can't quit exposing the evil. And when someone asks you, because there's still people that they're just kind of like, this is how my boss explained it to me one time. Some people are up here like, you have followed this so long, and I've been active in politics for so long, then you're probably, let's just say that you're at a certain level. But somebody that's just learning, they're still kind of down here because they're still learning, they're learning. So what we can help is just keep the information out. I'm not saying to freak people out, because that kind of just turns people off sometimes. But don't be afraid to give them truth and talk to them, or you're on your social media. And a lot of times I used to just kind of leave it alone, and I just kind of wait a little bit and respond, because a lot of times people respond for me with facts and things. But don't be afraid. And this is America. We still have the First Amendment. Use it. And you're helping people if you give them another little channel into information they never thought of, or they still don't think it's true. A perfect example is some of the bad laws that we have here in New Mexico. So speaking of that, can I make this a little quick turn into, we were talking about the military right before we started the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes, just like in talk radio, we'd get our prep show, and sometimes that show was, what we talked about was almost better than what the show was going to be. But they're talking about, Trump has talked about the transgender in our military in the United States. And I heard a staggering statistic, and you've been in the military more recently than most people that I know, but it said 15,000 transgender people were in our
That's
military.
a lot.
That doesn't sound right to me, Zeke.
Well, there's only so 1% of the population in America, and it's less now, qualified to even be active duty in the military. 1% of the United States,
Right.
when I joined, it was 1%. Now it's even less because no one wants to join because they don't qualify. So, and then if 1% of the population that I know of was transgender, the numbers just aren't adding up. You know, I don't know what's going on. That'd be crazy. 15,000 transgender soldiers?
And I don't know where that would come from or how they're counting that, because, you know, if you are gay, you're not transgender, okay? If you're a homosexual, let's say that's the clinical term, but you're not a transgender, maybe they're counting the homosexual.
I knew a ton of gay people when I was in the military. They're everywhere.
But did you have a guy that identified as a woman?
No.
Or vice versa, right?
I met one after I got out. When I got out, I knew someone, but he was, medically discharged eventually.
And an update on Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who was saying, you know, we need bathrooms, biological bathrooms, and Speaker Johnson took care of that. I saw a quick interview with her, I think it was this last weekend, and she was getting death threats about that. And
That's nasty.
it just tells you that it's really not about that they just want to push an issue and put it in your face and have something political to push. That's how I view it anyway. No, because if somebody was, you know, they all have personal bathrooms, is what Speaker Johnson said. And I don't know, I try to put myself in their position. And I would welcome if somebody wanted to give me like my own bathroom. Okay, that's fine, good, because they've been doing that for years and years. Girls' bathroom and boys' bathroom. It's something that I think there's just too much focus on it.
Well, it's a demoralization tactic, you know. It's like I was going back with Yuri Bezmenov on the last episode, and he explained that they do demoralization tactics, and so when we see, you know, transgender Secretary of Health assistants on TV promoting the castration of children and, you know, mutilization.
The guy that was stealing luggage.
Yeah, and that guy, that's demoralizing.
Energy secretary.
When we look at that and we see that these are the people that are running our country, that's a demoralization tactic right there. So they know it pisses us off. They know nobody likes it, but they do it anyway because they try to get away with as much as they can because they want to weaken our spirit. And it was disheartening. It is. I don't care if you're transgender, but I want to go with the most qualified person. You know, I don't care about that. If you happen to be transgender, but statistically and through your experience, you were the one that was the top performer, have at it, bro.
Yeah.
But I doubt that there's that many badass transgenders that are Navy SEALs or Green Berets. I doubt it. You know, it's someone else that's more highly qualified.
I think, yeah, totally exactly what you say. Then approve it, show it. And among that, so also what's happened recently is Matt Gaetz is no longer.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. Talk about that.
But overall, when I took a picture of it, I think I have it on my phone. Overall, the pics, I think, are pretty good. I think they're pretty good. It's going to be very interesting to watch the confirmation of the cabinet secretaries. And I think most of them will go through. Do you have any doubts that there's...
Well, Trump has a lot of leverage. You know, when you're in the executive, you pretty much have to go with what they say. So I have pretty good confidence that they're going to get in. And Matt Gaetz, though, I want to talk about that real quick because this goes out to anyone else that's planning on running for politics, want to get involved in politics. What had happened with him was, and they did this to everybody. They've done it to Alex Jones. They've done it to RFK. They're doing it to Matt Gaetz. They basically find some girl that you knew from 10, 15,
Who's
20
really
years.
still mad at you.
Well, and even if they're not, but they offer $10,000, $20,000 to say something bad about you. And then they come back and say, oh, well, he raped me. He did this, he did that. So with Matt Gaetz, what happened is they found, I think it was 2 or 3 girls. They're very beautiful. And they weren't throwing Matt under the bus. But what they did say on camera was like, he's a great guy. We did a bunch of ecstasy together. And we had basically menage a trois. And we had a great time. He's an amazing person. But just the fact that he had, you know, they were doing ecstasy and it was kind of a threesome kind of thing.
And this is college?
He was 25. He was 25 years old.
Right out of college.
You know? So, yeah, that's why he stepped down. Because he didn't want that to affect his run or affect President Trump. But I don't think. Well, he's a human being. He's not a pedophile. He's not someone out there.
And you know what? Do you think, Zeke, like I think, had he been a Democrat, those things just don't matter.
No.
But the fact that he's conservative Republican, oh my God, you're like you're held to this higher standard. Like nobody in their 20s did something they're not ashamed of. Things like that.
That's what it is.
I think it was a smart thing to do. He may have.
I wish he would have stayed.
He may have other things
that was pretty much it.
Use him. And,
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So like everything kind of happens for a reason.
True.
I was bummed when I first heard
I'm still
he was going
bummed.
to be there because I really like Matt Gaetz.
I'm a
He's
huge Matt
powerful.
Gaetz fan.
And I love to see him when he would go on the
I love Matt
the
Gaetz.
hearings because the dude he would not back down.
He's just got gusto. He's got moxie. You don't see that too much, and that's why I really liked him.
And he's not even going to continue to serve because he stepped down from this
Congress.
But he could have continued. Someone told me, well, you know what? He was reelected to the next Congress, so technically he could serve, but he's chosen not to. He's not going to even go return, correct?
Yeah, and I heard that they might appoint another Senate spot.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Yeah.
So the Governor DeSantis will need to do that.
Could appoint him. So
He can appoint himself, right?
there's other things that he can do. So we'll see how it goes. The thing is, I wanted to follow up with the Matt Gaetz thing. Is like, from what I understand, this is something Candace Owens had mentioned. Is a lot of times they'll blackmail politicians who get in there with like pornography that you may be watching on your phone over the years. So if you do plan on getting involved with office, watch everything.
Or don't let your phone get tamed.
Don't let your phone out there. Watch. Don't leave it alone, because they'll come after you, man. They'll come after you. So and I've been attacked while I was in office. My record's pretty clean. Whatever's there I'll stand by it. There's truth behind there. But they'll make things up. Just to try to character assassinate you. But go ahead.
And well, it's not like when you're on trial, you're innocent until proven guilty. But political trial, it's the other way around. You have to step back and prove that no, you didn't do that. And sometimes it just doesn't matter. I mean, look, even President Trump. What's her face? Stormy Daniels. Later, it's just crazy. But you're so right. And now, I mean, there's everything. Social media. Just think. And I've been saying this for years. There is no privacy. Even if you think, oh, okay, we were just having a conversation. Somebody could be recording me on your phone. They could have their phone on record, and you won't even know that. So just be careful. You've got to be careful all the time. But yeah, that's kind of a bummer that Matt Gaetz is not going to be in there. But I don't know. I think this could be like all the stuff they try to do to Trump or even Alex Jones, and they come back in another way stronger. There might be a position out there or something that he does now. He could create. He's the guy, he's sharp enough. He could create a podcast or be like this super guest that knows so much. He knows so much about Congress and so much about
They're going to use it for something. They're not going to let it go to waste.
Yeah.
He's a trusted person. That's what it is. It's hard to find someone that you trust, that you know is going to do the right thing. Someone that had Trump's back the entire time, and that was Matt Gaetz.
I saw also, I took a picture, I do have it on my phone like I mentioned before. The Secretary of Labor is actually a Latina. I saw that. You see that? So, ta-da!
Yeah, politics is brutal, guys, but hey, we've got to wake everybody up. We've got to learn more about how the system works, because the fact that most of us ignored it for so long is the reason why we ended up in this position. It's got to be integrated into our lifestyles, guys. Just straight up, there's no other way around it, especially here in Las Cruces. We just went through some elections that were not so solid. And we've got to put an end to that. And the only way to do it is we stick together, we learn, and we just basically peacefully protest.
I want to give a shout out. So I went to the Coalition of Conservatives in Action meeting last Thursday, and tell me if I get her name wrong. Diamond Crystal Brantley. I think I got
Crystal
it right.
Diamond Brantley.
Oh, God, I knew I was going to mess that up. With apologies.
Close enough.
She did such a great job. She's in the New Mexico legislature, and she got reelected, right? And she did a very, very good job and gave kind of the history of her coming into office. But what she was really stressing, and I don't think we think about this enough, because in New Mexico, yeah, we got bunches of Democrats, and a lot of people registered Democrat. But it sounded like her theme song, running politically, was vote your values. Because, and I'm the same way. I have several friends, they're registered Democrats, but they vote conservative. And that's okay. If you can't bring yourself to become an independent, or you don't want to be a Republican. I'm not going to make you, but I just care about how you vote, because I want you to vote for what I think is the best person, and hopefully you will think is the best person. But she was, I give her kudos. She did a really good job there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to her. She had to go back. I think she was in To the Consequences. But we need to get her on the show. And she's just a sharp lady. And even though we are still outnumbered, I think she's a person to watch in our legislature. I really do. Because she seems to be bold, and she's extremely well spoken. And also, I'll give you this because I've been following politics for a long time. Apparently, she appears to be a realist about politics. You know, a lot of people go in there and I think they kind of think, oh, okay, we're going to change the world. You can't change the world necessarily because we are so outnumbered. But you can make a difference, and it doesn't mean you have to lay down and take everything. I just want to give her a shout out.
Yeah, no, Crystal's a very straight shooter. I've talked to her over the years, you know. I don't know, we're not friends or anything, but I've talked to her at length on certain topics, and she's super cool. She's super down to earth, and that's all these guys: Gabe Ramos, Luis Terrazas, Rebecca Dow, Jennifer Jones. You know, all the Republicans that we have now, they're super awesome people.
The ones who got in, they're very strong, right? They really are. Even though we don't have enough of them in there, I'm excited because they're very strong. And so now's the time. Now, if you're thinking about it, you think, well, you know, I'd like to be in the New Mexico legislature, or you know somebody who would like to. Call us, man. Contact us. We'll put you in touch with people. And
Well, don't run into the door. We got to fix the elections here. It's not worth it. I mean, unless we're going to work as a team to fix these elections, I would not recommend anyone else for office.
So the school elections that are coming up, the school board, everything goes through the county clerk. The city does not do them themselves,
No,
right?
the city no more else is going to clear.
Oh, that's just too bad. That's right. I keep forgetting that.
We can do things to fix it. You know, there's things that we can do, and we're working on it right now. But I mean, look.
I don't want to discourage people from not running though, because
No, we need to be forthcoming about the elections because not one Republican won in Doña Ana County, and this is the biggest year for Republicans in world history. And you mean to tell me not one Republican in this county won?
And you know that I'm on the same page as you are on that. And update me. Are they planning to do anything as in the way of an audit or relook at it?
No.
Or is it just
It's kind of on us to really push through, and you know, I'm talking to certain people about getting certain things done, but you know, they just have so much power here. It's really difficult to fight. You know, I mean, peacefully I'm talking about, but
well, you know, what do you think about this? This just kind of came to me because like the last time we had the show, my big thing that just stands out, like talk about the elephant in the room, okay? We Republicans, that's double funny for us. But the 11,000 vote gap between Yvette Harrell and Gabe Vasquez. Do you think there's benefit? Because anybody can do this. Go and do your little research. You can look up your own precinct where you live, which is a much smaller concentration of your, kind of like your neighborhood. You can look up your legislative districts and other things, and you can compare and kind of see and have a knowledge of how the voting went. And just even do it in percentages. And the reason I'm inviting you to do that is because you and I can sit here all day and talk about, well, we saw this and we saw that. But all that takes is going to the New Mexico Secretary of State's website. And that gives you previous elections, this current election, and you can kind of self-educate. You can also go to the county clerk's site, right? And it'll have just the county numbers there too.
yeah, they're not transparent about the numbers, and most people that I know that do investigations find something. You'll find anomalies. You know, it's like,
But even if you don't think that those are maybe the exact correct numbers, you will see and maybe notice stuff.
that's what I'm saying. You're gonna find something. You're gonna find something.
Yeah. Okay. We're just talking.
Yeah, you're gonna find something. I mean, Yvette Harrell ran an audit, and you know, 4,000 ballots, 8,000 at first, 4,000 ballots after election day got dumped in, all Democrat, not date, not time stamped, and she lost that election in 2018. I'll sit next to her when that happened. So, and Elon Musk, and I keep quoting him, but hey, everyone cares about Elon. So look, he just posted yesterday. India counted was like 700 million or 7 million votes in a day or something.
Yeah, a billion people.
Yeah, it was like it was an insane amount of people that they counted in one day. India and Florida. He didn't even mention Florida. Florida counted an insane amount of people in one day. But Doña Ana County needs about a week to count 80,000 voters. Really?
And what a great comparison. and to say that. And one thing too, so instead of you being able, if you do what I'm telling you, just a recommendation, instead of you talking to your friends, say, well, you know, I heard this on Zeke and Alice were talking about it on the Chips and Salsa show in New Mexico. You can say, I went and they're right. I saw this big discrepancy. Knowledge is power.
You're gonna find it.
And then the next time you talk to somebody that's running for office or telling them, you can say, you know, we need to take control of this. Because, and that's one thing I am very excited about Trump getting in, because he wants to do something about election integrity. He'd like to do the one-day voting too, right?
All paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, those three things alone, it's over.
I mean, unless you're in the military and you're, you know, stationed across the world, of course, you know, we want you to be able to vote. Or I'm even for, like, if your mind is still good, but it's just so, or the other thing used to be, if you were going to be out of town, election day, because that's what it was just election day. So say I had to be on a business trip in New York, but I was registered to vote in New Mexico, but I was gone for 2 weeks. I could do an absentee ballot, and that makes perfect sense. You didn't have control over that.
Nah, even then, you just
No.
can't. You're just not voting. For
Well,
real.
that's one thing
I'm
that we
sick
disagree
of these
on.
absentee ballots. Yeah, we can disagree on that. I'm just sick
But
of
that
that.
would be very rare. That would be pretty rare.
I'd be open to that, but just the absentee ballots are the way to cheat. They're the way to cheat.
The mail-in ballot is so awful, and then I don't know all the rules here, so forgive me, but there's some places just everybody gets mailed one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
Everybody gets mailed one, so I mean the extensive fraud that can happen with just that action, it should scare the hell out of everybody. As your right as Americans, your freedom and your precious vote, you know, we should fight to protect that. We really should.
Yeah, for me, the utter denial, or just the fact that we're living in this city, and I know pretty much everybody in this freaking city. I do. I've been born and raised here. The only time I left when I was in the military.
If you don't, you know somebody who knows that.
I do. If I don't, I know someone that does. And
Even I have a little bit of that, and I haven't lived here in 30 plus
all of
years.
our elected officials, besides maybe one or two, nobody knows, or they're hated, or both. Nobody knows, or they're hated, or both. Okay? There's a few in there that people really like.
Wow.
The Democrat, people really like them. They've been here forever. I can
Except
vouch
the
for them.
Republican.
Well, there's no Republicans. We don't have one Republican elected official in the city. Not one.
There isn't, not even one.
Not one county commissioner. Not one school board member. Not one city council member.
That's right, because Carol Cooper was on the school board.
She's gone.
Wow.
And so, in the face of the most immense Republican movement in world history, we still happen to have all these people in these elected positions that nobody likes or nobody knows. Or both.
But yet, they keep getting reelected.
Oh, and they smile. They smile. They feel like they just have it all under control. Hey, just so you know, Trump said he's going to be jailing people who cheat on the elections, all right? He knows it's a national problem. The first thing he said when he got off his Trump plane and came here to Albuquerque was that our votes are rigged. And he said over and over again he's going to be long-term prison sentences for those who cheated in the election. I would recommend you just coming clean and just diming out whoever you're working for. And just get amnesty, because he's gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
Wow, that's interesting. You say that. You think some people would actually do it?
I would.
It
I was
might
them.
save.
I mean,
It might save.
well, either that or join. What was her name? Who just left the country? What the heck is that? Ellen DeGeneres.
DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, Mark always brings this up. He may have in our conversations. My husband Mark, whistleblower laws. We need to get some good whistleblower laws, because people don't come forward because they don't think they can be protected, and that's why sometimes things don't get done.
They've got a plan for it. I know they have a plan. I'm not even that worried about it. I'm worried insofar as that people locally aren't doing enough to help that federal administration. They're going to need a lot of our help. We're going to need to report all the anomalies that we found in the last election, kicking Republicans. So that's what it is. They kick Republicans out of the county warehouse after election day, and then they come back, and then there's a bunch of random ballots. We have to stop them from kicking Republican challengers out of the counting warehouses, and we got to make sure that these votes are counted on the same freaking day. There's absolutely no excuse why Doña County of 180,000 people can't count all the votes in one day.
And
no excuse.
I mean, there's Las Cruces is 120,000 people.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, that's
I mean,
just Las Cruces.
maybe it's Doña County.
Doña County, and so, like, I'm going to say population and the voters. Of course, you have that many people, but that you have even less voters. So the number is even smaller. It can be done. It was done for a long time, and cities do it. There's just there is no excuse except it makes you think they want it that way. Otherwise, why not? Why wouldn't you want to know? I would love to know by midnight that night what your results are.
Well, we used to when we were growing up. I mean, back in the day, we would know who won right there at 9 p.m. Everybody was throwing the balloons down and all freaking, Now it's like, whoa, they don't even really announce when they're done counting either. Just all of a sudden the county commission certifying the election. You're like, well, what happened? So, and for those who don't know, Doñana County has been a victim of voter fraud back in the late 90s. Our county clerk was caught stuffing precincts with registered voters that were more votes than there were registered voters in that precinct. And so they caught him cheating.
Who was the county clerk at that
I
time?
forgot his name, but you can Google it. It's there.
In the 90s.
It was in the late 90s.
I was gone, so I don't know.
And the woman who lost that race because of the cheating and who caught and found the cheating, they were doing intense research going precinct by precinct. She didn't even get appointed. They appointed someone else.
Oh, they couldn't.
Yeah, so we haven't had a real election since then, you can argue. And that's just what's going on, man. Doñana County's one rough place.
I'm just looking at our little notes to see what else we wanted. I don't want to forget things that we talked to you.
I'm dropping dimes over here.
I do want to say though, and I like to almost do this every show, but I'm the boomer, you're the millennial, and we really need to work on recruiting the younger generation.
Yeah.
And people like you, man, if you want somebody who, this guy is so great, Charlie Kirk, I love to see him when he's debating people. And he keeps his cool, he knows his stuff, he's very polite. Like I told you, I think you need to go work for him. By the way, let's go ahead and also talk America Fest coming up already next month. Hopefully we're going to both be there for the chips and salsa show at the big booth.
I was invited by Ben Luna too, and his team are going up there. So.
Oh, they're going to? Yeah. Well, you get in with us, right? We got you on our deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is Ben going to have a booth?
They're going to have a booth, and then they got the whole thing.
On Media Row?
I don't know where, but they paid good money for it. Yeah. He said yes. Let's all get together.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be helping them promote their documentary on.
Oh yeah, what is it? Children's.
Yeah.
We talked to him about that.
Yeah.
Very.
We'd love to have him back on for that too.
He's a millennial too, right?
He's a millennial.
And sharp Ben Luna. So if you're down there, look for Ben Luna as well. But
good guy, really good guy.
This deal, it's going to be very powerful, and especially now because Trump won. When we signed up for it, I thought, man, I hope Trump wins because it would have been a different energy heading out one. Don Trump Jr. is going to be there for sure. Tucker Carlson, a bunch of great speakers. But I always see this as a wonderful recruitment effort for the younger generation to come in. And they're smart. Once they start paying attention, they're just, they're going to be smarter than I ever was because they know technology and their mind is open. They know more about the world sometimes in that realm than I do. So your thoughts in this coming year, we're going to keep doing the show, but what else would you like to see done that's not being done in the way of recruiting a younger generation into politics and making our world better?
Well, I think we need to promote the fact that part of our duty to God is to spread the word and to get involved with politics. I think we need to get closer to God as a country, which we kind of already are, and in that same space, take responsibility for our communities with politicians and politics in general. And I think that's a way to took the millennials. I'm a millennial. They're hard to deal with, mostly because the economy's. We got hit the hardest of all generations.
Yes,
we're not able to buy houses the way your guys' generation was. We're not able to get stable jobs the way you guys were. We're in that gig economy. So a lot of us are very distracted. So therefore, in order to get the millennials involved, you really have to bring to the table a lot of organization, social media accolades, and leadership. If you can have strong leaders that have a well-oiled machine, and there's a way to be social media, because everybody wants to get likes, everybody wants to get tagged, you'll bring the millennials and the younger generation too. And so I don't know if we're going to be able to do that here in Doñana County this first year. I don't see that happening.
Well, that would be, it'd be fun, it'd be great.
I don't see that happening here. Other states, like Arizona's all with it. Arizona's great. But let's see. Now that we're all on the same page, everyone knows what's going on. we're all getting closer to God. There's really no limits to what's possible.
I think the God thing is huge, as you say. And in fact, we were going to talk about a little bit about the Church of Satan.
Oh yeah, well, that's important to talk about exposing things. You know, that's super important. I don't think people understand how intense that really is. I mean, we have Satanic Temple here in New Mexico that has some fiduciary responsibilities with abortions. I don't know exactly how, but I know that they're involved financially. I think they pay. I think the Satanic Temple here in New Mexico is allowed to pay for abortions.
Wow.
And so now they're going to open up a telemarketing abortion clinic or something like that.
It's like they were disguising themselves too, and it's like it's unbelievable when you start looking at that. And you know, during the week we share videos, and it's you can't even. I feel like I'm watching cartoons. Even that one guy, remember that one video, and the guy looked like a devil. He just like his ears are pointed and different things like that. And evidently there isn't a Church of Satan here in Las Cruces, is there? Do you know? I mean, there could be.
There might be. I see a lot of Satanists around. I know some Satanists, but I don't know about the church.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
But there is one, I think, Juan was telling me it's in Albuquerque.
That would make sense.
Which, yeah, that would make sense.
And that's okay. Freedom of religions, whatever. The problem with the Satanic Temple is that it's do thy will. That's their main logo. And then if you look into and this is how you get banned real quick on social media. You start talking about SRA, satanic ritual abuse. It's, you can Google it. It's something that they engage in. They have to abuse people, victims, to honor their God. It's like a sacrament to them. And a lot of Satanists don't know that because you got to get deeper into it to understand that. But there's plenty of videos on YouTube, all over Google. Just Google SRA, satanic ritual abuse. Victims that came out. They're basically subjected to mind control tactics, and you know. So that a religion that promotes hurting innocence is, I don't think you get a pass with the Constitution. I don't think you do, because any religion most religions don't involve. They're trying to help society. They're trying to hurt people. So that, you know, this is intense stuff here. But you know, where else are you gonna hear about it? Alex Jones talk about this stuff sparingly. He's talking about more, not so much now. I think because most people are hip to it, but. I think here in the local community we need to have this discussion about what's really going on, because the Satanic Temple now is getting even more involved with abortions. And you know, if I was an onlooker that saw that, it's kind of just dismiss it, but you got to look deeper into all the layers, and it's like, why are they so fixated on abortions? You know.
And you say you know a couple of Satanists.
I do.
Are they deep into it, or?
One of them I've known for years. I kind of grew up with them, and he's kind of like. It's actually a very principled doctrine, and ironically, Anton LaVey, the founder of it, when he was dying on his deathbed, I showed you that video. He literally, on record, said he did something wrong. He realized that something was wrong. And
That was powerful.
And I told my friend that, but yeah, he's got a Satanic Bible. He showed it to me, and
Has he always been?
No, he got deep into it recently, but it's got a lot of principles. There's a lot. It's a guide in a way to live life, which is essentially Machiavellian, which is very selfish, like do thy will.
It's hedonistic.
Yeah, it's hedonistic, but it also teaches them to respect power. Like, even if someone's not a Satanist, but they have power, then you need to respect that power. And that's how they gain power, too. So I've studied that, you know, and I've told him about what happens in the deeper levels of it. He didn't want to hear me out, you know, but we're still cool.
Was he a Christian before?
No, he was nothing before. So for me, it seems like it's just the first kind of organized religion he's kind of been experiencing and introduced to, so he kind of gravitated towards it. Hey man, if you just look at the Bible, it tells you what's going on these days, and I am a firm believer in the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior, and it wasn't until then that I started to get peace in my life, and I try to share that with as many people as I can, even if they are satanic, even if they are Luciferian, even if they are bad people. I still talk to them, I still pray for them, and I wish them the best. Yeah, that's what Jesus did, right?
We're supposed to do that.
That's what we're supposed to do. So, you know, we need to talk about this stuff. This is important stuff to talk about.
Well, it kind of blows my mind, but it's real. It exists, and that's what we try to be, the truth tellers. You know, and
not an easy job.
As much as you can do that. You know, if you don't believe what we're saying, or if you challenge us, like we always talk about, I'd love to be proven wrong on some of these things. I was talking to somebody the other day, please, this would be great if this really wasn't true. It's just that, We've seen facts.
Well, talk about Charlie Kirk. You know, he just I just posted that he explains how our Constitution and common law. Our Constitution is based off common law. Common law was based off.
Did you
of the
put the
Bible.
whole thing?
No, the whole thing was like 10 minutes, but
The whole thing is worth to go back and listen to.
Way worth it. Way worth it.
Very well done.
So, this country everything around us in this country was based on the Bible and God and Ten Commandments. I don't care what you say, the fair trial, judgment, you know, freedom. We're all created equal in the image and likeness of God. God is in Declaration of Independence 4 times. I mean, the morality that our collective community, our collective conscience fully dictates our experience in this reality. And that's something that I learned studying ethics. And so, without morality, we're not protected by God.
Well, you won't have society because it
No.
will turn into chaos.
It's chaos.
But he does such a wonderful job and goes historically to what happens.
Nails it.
I used to work with a talk show host. He's no longer with us, but he would always say, "The United States, our country was Judeo-Christian. That's what it was built on, Judeo-Christian." And there was somebody within that organization who was just hated to hear that. Well, the guy wasn't a Satanist or anything, but probably thought, "Oh, that's just too sensitive. You can't really say that." No, I mean,
That's what it is, man.
that's the way our country is. That's how it's developed. That's why I think pilgrims came over here for freedom, and people came for religious freedom. And it wasn't to dictate what religion you were, but just so you would have the freedom to practice your religion.
Yeah, the main thing with the separation of church and state was so that way a certain sect of Christianity couldn't be discriminatory against other, like Protestants and Quakers couldn't, you know, go to war with each other. That was the spirit of it. It was implied that if you were an American, you believed in God, you believed in Christ. It was just implied, you know. So, yeah, we've gotten away from that because we've gotten away from everything that the Bible tells us to do. And I'm not a Bible thumper, but look what happens when you take the man out of the family. Look what happens. The nuclear family's gone. The chances of the child going to jail go through the roof. And we've just destroyed men in general. You know, being a man right now is not easy. And so, and I know it's not easy being in any relationship right now. Like, you've been married for a long time, and that's awesome, but that's going away. That's going away. You're a rare breed now.
Oh, now, what is it, 50% marriages ending
It's
in
more than
divorce?
that. It's more
It's
than
probably
that.
more.
It's like 70-80% now.
Wow, please don't tell me
No,
that.
no,
Really?
yeah, that's serious.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's serious. Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you consider the people who are currently married and like the boomers and older, you take them out because they're not going to be continuing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 80%. But as of right now, it's like 50, 60. Some studies are 70%. So it's well over 50% people are getting divorced now. Well over. And it's 80% of the divorces are initiated by women. And so that's a whole other topic.
We could do a whole show about that.
I was doing my podcast on that for a while earlier this year, but it's too controversial.
Bring a marriage counselor in here, Doug, with it. I mean, it's that's wild. It's 70%. Well, I can see that though.
Think about
Because the way people view marriage, even in the last, I'm going to say the last 10 years has changed.
it. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you've experienced that. I mean, when I was getting married, people still like that's what you did. You know, you got married, and that's most people did get married. I do have a few girlfriends my age that had never been married, but they probably would have if they would have found the right person. They weren't against marriage, like, no, I'm never getting married. That wasn't the case. It just didn't. I think it just didn't happen for them.
Right.
But you're absolutely right about the breakdown of the family, and I'm talking there about stats to prove that. You know, you go, and if the father isn't there, that force, you need a father and a mother to hold it together. I mean, there's single families, yes, but it's very, very difficult. And also what used to be is there was a whole family unit. The grandma and the grandpas were there. And then it was the early 90s, and I worked as a building secretary at a middle school in Phoenix. And there were, there were some breakdowns, there were some kids, they only had one parent in the family. A lot of times it was the grandma and the grandpa were raising them.
Ooh, it's more common now than ever.
Parent was in jail or couldn't do it or had problems and stuff. And I thanked as many as I could, because a lot of the kids, I mean, that's a really difficult time in middle school. You know, you're what, 11 or 12 or something like that, transitioning into teenager. And those kids I ran into one a few years later. He was working like at the top of it, and it was so cool to see him. It was just nice. But I don't even know if there's that much going on anymore as far as an extended family to help the poor kids.
Yeah, the kids are getting brutalized out there. You know, I don't know if there's any programs that I mean, most kids have come from a single parent home now. And they've done studies talking about controversy. I was just talking about this with a medical professional, behavioral health specialist earlier today, and it's every year now. Children that are raised in single parent homes with their fathers fare better than if they were raised by their mom. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a new stat.
Massively too. It's like it's huge. And the speculation is because, well, the reasons why they say is because men are more logical, they're less emotional, so they're able to hold the kids accountable for their behavior more so than the mom would be, because females are more emotional.
The dad's usually the enforcer.
That's right.
You know, I don't know. Okay, don't worry. Wait till dad gets home.
They're males are more disagreeable too. So if you got your little kid, can I buy this? Can I do that? No.
Not bad.
Women are more agreeable. So yeah, the studies are out. It's a very hard fact now. Men raise children better than women do. Single parent homes. And so you would think it'd be the other way around, but it's not. I mean, the studies are very clear.
Oh, do you know
Feminist.
that wonderful word that likes to use misogynist? Oh man.
You can say what you want. It's right there in the
Well,
science.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, that's very, very interesting. And I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it.
No, it's good.
And especially guys have been under attack so much.
We have been.
Men bad. Male toxicity, whatever they call it, right? Masculine toxicity.
But that's okay.
Guys, we need to just return, go to church and get back to God, like you say. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. I know it's not. It's a tough world. It's brutal out there.
It's brutal.
It is.
It's dark.
But it's not hopeless. It isn't hopeless.
No, I feel good. I feel confident. Trump economy's coming back. We have a bunch of millennials that are going to be poised to take it from wherever Trump leaves it on to the next generation.
Millennials in his cabinet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're here. We're on board, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting for this country, and we ain't going to stop. So.
Okay, I have a question to ask you. Just thought it right now.
What's up?
As a millennial, President Trump's right here, and you can ask him one question, or say just something to you. What would you tell him?
I would ask him about the book that was written about Baron Trump from the 1880s, and just to hear his insights on that.
Oh,
it was like the magical journeys of Baron Trump. It was a book written in like 1887, I think it was, and it basically describes all the things that we're going through.
It was written in 1887.
1887, and Baron Trump is supposed to be the new leader of the new world. So I'd like to hear what he says about that. I know he's got an analysis.
That would be a fun question to ask.
I know he knows about it. He probably doesn't know.
He's got to.
Yeah,
somebody has told him.
Google it. I think it's the
Baron probably told him.
It's the wild adventures or the mystical adventures of Baron Trump. And it was written in 1887. It's a wild thing to really come across.
And that's one of his top advisors now too, his son.
Yeah, it's like 6'9". Jesus.
Man, yeah, he is a tall dude.
He's 6'9". He's literally 6'9".
And he could even still grow, right? Because he's like 18.
Yeah, he might get past 7 foot. That freak. But Charlie Kirk is 6'5" too.
Charlie Kirk's huge.
Charlie
Charlie Kirk. He is not a shorty.
A big dog.
Of course, everybody's taller than me.
Right.
Oh yeah. I hope we get to see him when we're there.
Scott Presley's 6'4".
Yeah. Have you met him?
Yeah, man.
He's a tall, lanky
Big
guy.
guy, yeah.
Sweet guy. And that guy is doing so much good stuff.
Registered Republicans.
He is.
That's what you do. That's how you win.
He's awesome. Awesome. He did he come here last?
He came 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's when I met him.
We need to try to get him back.
He's 10 grand.
10 grand to get him.
10 grand to get his ass over here. We'll do it.
Well, when Chips and Salsa got him that way, it wasn't 10 grand. He was free.
He was just getting started.
Thank you, Scott. But he came in and he was doing like a cleanup in our neighborhood, and registered Republicans, like you say. He's just talk about a man of action. Yes, he is.
That is a man of action, 100%.
He really is. Okay, what have we not covered? Because I know we're coming.
I think that's it. We covered everything I wanted to cover.
We need to wish everyone a really happy Thanksgiving. This is a great time to be thankful. And we are thankful for our chipsters out there. Chipsteros.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We appreciate. Please tell people about us. It's going to be even better. We're getting better every time, I think.
Yeah, we are.
I'm very thankful for my partner here.
Thank you, Alice. I'm very grateful too.
We're gonna keep it going. The millennial and the boomer. Boom.
Oh, yeah, we're here. We represent America, Hispanics, truth, freedom, love, God. And on that point, we'll end with prayer.
Let's end with prayer.
All right. Dear Lord, thank you so much once again for bringing us together to share truth in your name, Lord. And I pray that we, stay strong for President Trump as he becomes inaugurated, and that we can do great things here in our community of Doña County to fix our local community, to stand up for the children, Lord. And we're just grateful for the blessings that you've given us, and we hope that everyone's listening and has a great, blessed Thanksgiving with the family, has a great, blessed Christmas with the family, and that we come back in the year 2025 re-energized and vitalized to serve you, Lord, and to bring humanity into the future with prosperity. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Done as always. Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You guys have a Merry freaking Christmas. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll be here next week. We plan to anyway.
We'll probably try to. We will be.
Thanks for sharing this. We appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah, like, share the post, please. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Share, like, subscribe, follow, all those stuff. Chips and Salsa shows you Mexico.